Okay, we are starting up. Welcome to the JodoCast, a special new thing. Triumph and Despair, the High Republic Episode 1 is our brand new... Well, Triumph and Despair is an old role-playing game we've done, but we've brought it back and it's High Republic style. First, let's just introduce everybody here. Get started. I am Joe. I'm going to be the Galaxy Master for this endeavor. Joining me, introduce yourself, one of you guys, and then the other.
I am Christian Sorrell. Hello. Listeners of JodoCast would know that I was on Padawan the Knight and the Master, and I do another RPG podcast with Evan, who might be here as well. We don't know. Named Encounter Time, and I just also do other RPG stuff nowadays around the internet. But I'm happy to be here. Get some Star Wars on.
And I'm Evan Lewis. You might know me from such other podcasts as the JodoCast and Precisely Radio and Encounter Time and various sundry other podcasts.
And we're trying something new. I think this is going to be a fun, exciting experience for hopefully all of us and all of you watching or listening. This will be up on our audio feed as well. If you're listening to this on the audio feed, no, you could watch this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, no, you could listen to it as a podcast while you're driving to work. It's been a while since I've been sort of a more serious GM. People might be familiar with my work running Clumsy and Random, the barely more structured than straight up improv role-playing game thing we do here. But I am so in love with the High Republic, I wanted to bring it to the role-playing game. There's not an official source book out there, and I said, you know what, we'll just do it ourselves. We'll do it live. Yeah, so we've already created our characters, another thing that could make this amazing is that our characters are a master and a padawan. As far as character creation, Christian's character has been... How much XP does your guy have?
A lot, like 285. I think we looked at like Jedi Knight level in the book. It had guidance, so we kind of stuck with that. So my guy is an established knight.
Yeah, his character has the player stats of a player character that's, super leveled up. Like end game level player character, whereas Evan's character is fresh out of character creation, as the game would expect to have. So things could get weird. We'll find out. I think unless anybody has any questions, we can just get into the exposition of where we are, meet our characters, and get going.
Of course.
Do it.
Okay. I'm gonna read because the High Republic itself has an opening crawl that they started phase 1 with, so we're just gonna jump into that to set the scene. Somebody hum this opening crawl music, but not good enough to get us copyright strike.
I'm just gonna think it in my head.
Okay, that's also acceptable. The galaxy is at peace, ruled by the glorious Republic and protected by the noble and wise Jedi Knights. As a symbol of all that is good, the Republic is about to launch Starlight Beacon into the far reaches of the Outer Rim. This new space station will serve as a ray of hope for all to see. But just as a magnificent renaissance spreads through the Republic, so does a frightening new adversary. Now the guardians of peace and justice must face a threat to themselves, the galaxy, and the Force itself. And the camera pans down onto Starlight Beacon, which is a large, taller than it is wide space station. It's very beautiful and white. A lot of towers popping up. The under half is a little bit grungy and dirty, more industrial looking, but the top half is very pristine. The image the Republic is trying to project to the Outer Rim, as this is sort of an outreach program trying to spread the Republic's influence into the Outer Rim, and part of the Chancellor's kind of great works where she's trying to expand the Republic, convince Outer Rim planets and worlds that joining the Republic is a good idea for them, because a lot of them have either never cared or outright thought it was a bad move. So the Starlight Beacon, not only is it a big space station where the Republic things are based, there's most importantly, it is a Jedi temple. The main spire is basically looks like the main spire of the Jedi temple on Coruscant. So there are Jedi stationed there. There's cultural exchanges there, markets. There's a significant sized Republic Defense Force stationed there. And we find ourselves in the hangar bay of Starlight Beacon. Jedi Knight Khalil Nu, a Nautolan, right? He's a Nautolan.
That's me. Yeah.
He's a Nautolan. For those who are really into the role-playing game stuff, which maybe you are, I'm gonna assume half of the audience is really into the RPG stuff and half is just here for a cool High Republic story, which I really, first and foremost, want to tell a cool High Republic story. I'm going to try and be, doing the role-playing, the RPG mechanics as much as they need to be done to make that happen. But if it gets a little more improv-y, that's fine. If you guys feel like being improv-y, that's fine too. And if it gets real weird and you say, why is that spaceship all of a sudden there? Maybe I'll say no. Maybe I'll say, okay, let's flip a destiny point. Or maybe I'll just let it slide. Whatever.
Challenge accepted.
Khalil Nu, 20-something year old Nautolan, kind of been a Jedi Knight for a little while now.
Yeah, a number of years. We described, probably like 6 or 7-ish years.
Yes.
But has mostly, I think, been solo, was kind of our backstory.
Yes, if you're interested in the full creation of the backstory, Session 0, where we created the characters, is available to patrons on our Patreon page. I expect all of the backstory will sort of come out as we learn about these characters and see them in action. He's standing there at the kind of the cusp of the hangar with his padawan, Volkite Agoros, a young Zabrak child, boy, young man. Not sure.
That's a good descriptor. A young man boy.
A young man boy. There's lots of kind of, it's busy work, people moving around, a lot of freighters in the hangar, because Starlight Beacon is not officially open for business yet. The dedication ceremony is still a little ways off. It's sort of half-staffed, a lot of kind of people getting it ready to be open for realsies. So you're standing there, and next to you is Jedi Master Jorah Mali, who is a Togruta. She used to be on the Jedi Council, on the High Council. She stepped down in order to lead the Starlight Project and be kind of the leader of all the Jedi stationed at Starlight. She's a Togruta, she's got orange skin like Ahsoka, some white stuff on her face. Her montrals are white and kind of a burgundy brownish. So she's standing there and she's ready to send you guys on your mission, because you have been sent to Starlight from Coruscant. The High Council had very recently paired you two together. You've gotten very little time to know each other. And she's turning to both of you and she says, Khalil Nu? She looks down at little Volkite. You and your new Padawan are going to be doing a very important mission. As you know, Starlight Beacon is part of Chancellor So's great works outreach. We're trying to show the Outer Rim the importance of joining the Republic. And one of those things, obviously, is the safety and benefit of having Jedi Knights around. And we recently actually got reached out to by a small mining colony on the Outer Rim world of Crait. And they were asking for help. They said, okay, if you guys are here, why don't you show us what you can do? And so I've decided that you two are going to go out to Crait, talk to the leader of this mining colony, and see if you can help him. Khalil, I know you've got a lot of experience out on your own, and now you're going to have to take Volkite here and show him how this sort of thing is done. We've already chartered a vessel for you. If you look straight ahead, she kind of gestures. There's a large, it's sort of a dark gray, bulky, a lot of hard edges freighter. There's some kind of lava orange detailing on it. And just sitting in front of the boarding ramp is there's a Sullustan and a astromech droid just kind of hanging out, looking around, taking in the station. You'll be flying aboard the Ash Angel over there. We've chartered it for you. He knows where to take you, and he'll take you back when everything is done. So that's basically your mission. You go to this mining colony on Crait, investigate their distress. They had reports of missing persons. You see if you can solve their problem. Hopefully, that'll help them want to join the Republic. If nothing else, you'll at least have helped people, which is most important. Any questions?
Master Molly, is there anything more that they told us other than just reports of missing persons, or was it just a simple radio in and a request?
They sent us a message for, it doesn't sound like there's any sort of immediate danger. It was sort of to be honest with you, it sounded like the person putting in the request was doing it a bit begrudgingly. It came from the boss. He calls himself the boss mayor of the colony. He put in the request. Yeah, the boss mayor. It's a man named Dodge Keller. Human. Should find him once you get there. It's my understanding that it's not a particularly big mining colony. It's run by the Yushin Syndicate. So you
Sounds
get
like
there,
it's
you
an
talk to Dodge
ongoing
Keller.
problem of some sort then.
Yeah, you get there, you talk to Dodge Keller. You figure out what's going on. He might be reluctant from the message. He didn't seem to have much faith in the Republic or the Jedi. I got the impression that maybe others sort of pressured him into asking for help.
Well, I think we look forward to proving him wrong. And I kind of look down at Volkite to give a little bit of like, let's get hyped up, man. Come on. In my mind,
Volkite.
we hardly talked even on the ship from Coruscant to here. It's a very awkward first day in class kind of vibe is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you were basically they kind of called you in, said you two are master and padawan now. Like, you don't get to question this. We're trying this out for both of your good. And then we're sending you off to Starlight. Those are your orders. And so that's off you went. So you have not known each other for very long at all. Basically the length of a trip out to Starlight.
Volkite looks up at his new master with the typical 14-year-old, not quite an eye roll, but those eyes are way back. And just huffs and then looks away.
Sounds like we'll have time to plan our approach on the trip out there, and we will see what Crait has in store for us. I appreciate you thinking of us for this.
She says, well, just be sure to send a report if you discover anything urgent, and I'll see you back here, hopefully in time for the dedication ceremony. And then she says, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
And
I'm sure...
She turns and walks away already. She's already talking to somebody who's handing her a data pad. Very busy.
I think as I turn back towards the ship, I go, you hear that, Volkite? Reports are in your future. One of the many great luxuries of being a Jedi.
Reports. Gotta love it. Sounds great.
Well, think of it this way. It can be a bit of a reward for us not dying on some desert Crait planet. I haven't been here. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet.
I guess you
Be an
can.
adventure.
It sounds like it's
Yeah, you wouldn't know
gonna
anything.
be. Oh yeah, no, I don't expect to know anything about this place, but it sounds like it's gonna be nothing but absolute fun, sir. I am thrilled to be here with you.
Well, it sounds like it's an ongoing problem from what little we know. So, keep your eyes about you. Not all the
I
problems
mean,
we face on the Outer Rim are big creatures of one sort or another. It's reasonable to expect this could be something within the colony itself.
it's a mining colony, right?
That's what the master said.
And people die during mining. Problem solved.
Well, we'll go see if it's that simple. I head off towards the ship.
Yes, sir. I
Okay, well,
follow.
you guys walk up to the ship. The Celestin guy, he's standing there. He's wearing like a short sleeve shirt with like a floral pattern on it, and he's kind of leaning on this astromech, and the astromech droid kind of looks like I think maybe like the classic escape pod from A New Hope, or maybe like a cement mixer barrel, something of that shape with some lights on it, and then like two classic astromech legs on either side. But it's sort of tilted at an angle, and it does a little beep in the Celestin. He pushes off the droid and does like a mock salute, and he goes, "Hey, fellas, you ready to go to Crait?"
As ready as we will be, I suppose. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Jedi
yeah.
Knight Khalil New. Put my
You
hand
know,
out sort of as a gesture.
I never met a
Shake his hand.
Jedi until, just recently. Now I've met like 10 of them.
There are quite a few of us here on the beacon.
Yeah, quite a thing, this Starlight. You really think it's gonna get people out here to want to join the Republic? You know, my ma, she doesn't live on a Republic world. She says it's no good. I say, Ma, it's pretty good. She says, no. What are you gonna do?
Well, I think it will take more than just a beacon to win over the hearts and minds of people. So I think it's more about what we actually go out and do that will take people like your ma to join the cause.
My ma, she says, Starlight Beacon, how about some Starlight Bacon? You gotta feed the people. Anyway, he walks onto the
I
ship.
can't deny that.
he walks up the ramp. The ramp is under.
He didn't tell me his name, right?
He did not, apparently.
Okay.
The ramp to the ship is like in the center. It's underneath the cockpit. The cockpit is front and center. So he walks up, and the astromech kind of looks you guys up and down, goes boop, and then it rolls up after him.
I just look to you, Volkite, and say, I have a feeling he won't be the strangest one we encounter on our trip out to Crait. So strap in.
Okay, sir.
Okay, well, you
follow.
Yeah, you guys. You guys hop inside. As soon as you get off the ramp, it starts to close, and the engines fire up, and you feel the ship lift off and depart.
Is it making any strange noises? Should we be worried about this thing?
It definitely doesn't sound as like smooth as the ship you took here from Coruscant. But it's, I don't know. It doesn't sound it doesn't sound like a great off the factory ship. It
All
definitely,
right,
even from the outside, you can tell it's a little worse for wear.
It doesn't
probably not
sound
nearly
like
as nice as all the like. It's probably not as nice as all the like top of the line High Republic Jedi freighter stuff we've been on up to this point. Yeah, I mean, I think during if he's just like the pilot's up in the cockpit and we're just on there, I think I just go to sort of whatever the sort of seating, area, like kitchen type area is, on the ship, and just, yeah, I mean, I think that in my mind, I carry myself as a pretty more like less Jedi, less like, Qui-Gon, more like just a normal guy. Like, I think I'm just sitting there. I'm not like meditating or in like a pose, that kind of thing. I think I just kind of take a seat, kind of put one leg slightly up on the rest of the sort of,
this place is
bench
kind of like
pew area.
if you can call it that, like a lounge area with some seating and like a tiny little, trucker kitchen. It's definitely more of a freighter type ship, but there's some seating. There's even a second cabin that has bunk beds in it. That's clearly not his cabin. You noticed his cabin was the one with all these little like doodads and posters on the wall.
Out of character. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Volkite is going to just wander. He is not sitting. He is going wherever he can.
Okay. Well, the ship is it's still in real space. So while you wander, I mean, name a part of the ship, and I'll tell you what you encounter there if you're interested.
The engine room.
The engine room is very loud. This think of like take an empty soda can and a steel wrench and then tap the can repeatedly. That noise is happening alongside just a really loud low rumble. The astromech droid is in there. He's got like a little arc welder out and he's zapping part of the engine. He turns around
actively repairing the engines while they're being used. Always a good sign.
He turns around and goes bob bob bob.
Yeah, is this thing gonna stay together?
The whole like chassis of the droid swivels up and down in like a nod. Bop, bop.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say, man.
He kind of moves towards you and like nudges you to get you out of there.
Bop, yeah, no problem. Bop, I'm leaving.
Bop.
I'm out of there immediately. Bop. I'm out.
The door whooshes shut behind you. It leaves him in there.
I think after a little bit of time, the thing I was going to ask is, like, out of character, would it be, should I refer to, would I be referring to my Padawan by like, would it be like Padawan Agaros? Is it Agaros? Agaros? How's your last name, Volkite? Or does he not
everyone gets it differently. So if you say it one way and somebody else says it another, that's perfectly understandable.
Is it not disrespectful for me to refer to my Padawan by their first name?
That's up to you.
Well, I just mean like I just want to make sure that's not like,
I think it's very dependent on the master Padawan relationship.
Okay, so that's I can. So bring
I'm gonna
that.
Basically, that's however you want to take it, and it's however he wants to take it when you decide what you do.
Okay. Then yeah, I think after some time, I sort of do the same, sort of walk about the ship, trying to track Volkite down, and then I think whenever I run into you, I just sort of do the awkward, slightly still awkward, approach over to you and say, "Now, Padawan Agaros." Agaros? I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with the name, but the last name.
Whatever.
I appreciate you being lenient with me. I find that it's never too early to begin thinking on the situation that we're about to face. So, in what you've read of the other work of the Jedi and in your training so far, what would you say, based on the little we know, other than, a collection of off-grid mining accidents, like you mentioned earlier, what do you think we should look out for?
I don't know. I mean, it just sounds simple enough to me. I don't think there's going to be anything insidious going on. No one's
So you think
gonna...
it's most likely that it's maybe a subterranean creature in the mines, or a group family ran off to another planet, something like that? Something innocuous?
There's all kinds of things. Yeah, there's all kinds of things it could be that's not like a murderer going around killing people. It could be just people stuck on, one place going stir crazy. And, it doesn't mean they're murdering each other. Just accidents happen, and then someone puts 2 and 2 together, and they get 6. So,
well, I would encourage you.
We're not going to find anything.
You both feel the distinctive sort of lurch and hum as the ship leaps into hyperspace.
Whoa!
I just like bob slightly.
A few seconds later, the pilot walks into the kind of living space, and he walks over to the kitchen area, opens up a little compartment, and pulls out like a can. He twists the top off and takes a sip and sits down on the kind of the couch where you were sitting earlier.
So kind of eyeballing that he's now sort of like in the space of this conversation too. I just kind of like wrap it up quickly and with Volkite, and I'll just say, well, I would encourage you to keep that kind of an open mind. I think far too often Jedi do come in with a certain series of events already played out in their head, but I would say we should take note of what the Master told us about their reluctance, and perhaps what that could mean for the boss mayor. This is just me thinking through the little flags that are raising in my mind with what we know, but I'll leave you be the rest of the trip.
I start looking for another drink.
Either you guys, either you guys want one of these? He holds up his can.
What is this delicacy you have?
Oh, we like to call it Sullustan slush.
It sounds great.
Yeah, sounds good enough. Where are they?
I'd love to try one.
Yeah, it's just in the little fresher cabinet on the wall there.
I go over and get one. Yeah. I'm not passing up Sullustan slush.
Yeah, they're in actually cans about this size, sort of like a tall boy.
Whoa.
It's like a monster.
These boys are tall.
They're good stuff. You know, we used to brew them back home on Sullust. You know, you ever been to Sullust?
I have not. Spent most of my time in the Outer Rim.
It's a real dump. You should see it. Real hot.
Some of my favorite places in the universe are dumps. I hope to one day.
Yeah, it's real hot. So with it cool off, gotta make ice. It's a delicacy. You know, when you travel in the galaxy in a spaceship that's got, cooling devices, you can make ice whenever you want. Back on Sullust, harder to make. We made these things called Sullustan slushes.
Great.
Get you it'll send you to hyperspace real quick. I'll tell you that much.
I don't
you know what I mean.
I'm sorry, I don't believe I caught your name, or the Master didn't tell us, just the name of your ship.
He puts the drink down, he stands up, he wipes his hands on his stomach. He extends his hand.
Okay, put my hand out to shake it.
My name's Ten Bibby.
Tin Biddy? I try to say, keeping a straight face.
Ten Bibby. I'm the pilot, owner, operator of the Ash Angel.
Oh, my apologies, Ten Bibby.
Yeah.
Barely contained smile, like face muscles twitching when I hear this guy's name.
Named after my grandfather, Ten Bibby. Ten's a very common name, you know. You ever met
a wonderful ship?
Kind of like humans named Luke. A lot of Sullustans named Ten.
learning more and more about Sullust every day.
The droid rolls in and goes, bop, bop. Oh, that's my little friend. This is G8RR. He helps me, keep the ship running.
Gator?
Yeah, we call him Gator. Well, I mean me and the ship. Ship's computer, they get along pretty good.
I half expected you to say his name was Bob Bob. He has a very sort of unique sound profile.
He goes, bop, bop, bop.
I like it.
You know what? He picked that vocabulator out himself.
Good. Wow. Makes you stand out from the crowd.
He used to have a Coruscanti accent. You changed that a while back.
So billions of droids out there with those accents. So this is much more, homey feeling. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, we like to keep it cozy in here. He kicks his feet back up on the table. The table falls over. Oh, props it back up. Well, it's gonna be a bit of a trip to get to Crait. There's an extra cabin in there if you guys need to sleep or meditate or whatever it is you guys do. There's
sometimes both.
There's some games built into the table here.
Ooh, what you got?
Oh, we got Deseric and bop, bop, bop. Yeah. We recently installed Pazak on there.
Ooh. I immediately try to get Pazak up.
Is this like you can play against the computer, or you need to have another player? Like you need him or I to play with you?
Yeah, there's no AI control that counts extra. If you want to play against the computer, you've got to ask Gator, or that's about it.
Hey, droid.
What?
Come play the game with me.
He rolls over and plugs into the table. No, you don't want to play against him. He cheats.
Huh. Yeah, we'll see.
You know how to play Pazak?
Everyone knows how. Everyone's got their own deck on them at all times, don't they? That's what I've heard.
Well, that used to be the case. Then they fully digitized it.
Khalil just idly nodding as if he definitely carries a deck with him on all times when he's never learned how to play this game, despite probably having heard of it.
Are you have you reached adulthood yet in whatever species you are, kid? There's New Republic regulations coming through that say you got to be past adolescence in order to partake in some of these games. They say they're dangerous for the youth. I don't care, but just so you know, if you go to some other world and play, they might not let you if they care about rules and things.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about rules myself. So
I thought you Jedi were all about rules. The 5 I met, they seem pretty. They like rules.
Well, in my mind, if the crew at the temple was willing to give Volkite here a lightsaber, then
Oh yeah,
I think a deck of cards isn't gonna
swords
be any more dangerous than that.
We cut to 2 hours later after Volkite and Gator have been playing this entire time.
Just kind of idly sitting
cheating.
Back.
Wow.
No, there's like
a holographic pile of chips, and they're all on Gator's side of the table, except for like 2 on Volkite's side of the table.
There are only so many plus minus 10s available in the deck.
Well,
you do not have 2 of them. I've got 1 of them.
Fast forward another hour. There's 1 chip left in front of Volkite.
I feel I have several moments of feeling as if it's the good Jedi master thing to do, to like speak up and say like, control your emotions, stop yelling, and then I just go, not that good of a master yet.
Finished his drink and is sleeping on the bench right next to Volkite.
All right. I know what you're trying to do to me. You're trying to get in my head, aren't you? You little grater. I'm not gonna let you get in my head. I know your game. Okay. I've got this. Okay. Now, one last time. All in.
Okay, due to some let's make a roll for this. Before we do that, let's do one thing we forgot was set the destiny pool. I just need each of you to roll a force die so we can set the destiny pool.
Yeah, that hasn't come up too much yet. That's the white die, correct?
Yes. Okay. Well, you both So our destiny pool is just 2 dark side points, which I can just use to screw you guys over if I feel like it. Or keep you in check.
Wow.
For anyone at home wondering, the destiny pool is essentially tokens that flip between light and dark that just kind of are there for, like, sort of, sometimes it's almost just like Deus Ex Machina moments where you're like, we totally had scuba gear this whole time, when it turns out you needed scuba gear or something and you flip it. Or I could flip one to make something really, really difficult for them or whatever.
It's because we have 2 dark side. It's like you get to really like sucker punch us twice. But then when we get light side ones, we can, you can do the, certain death, and then suddenly a lightsaber flies out of the background, and someone's here to help us. All those great sort of Star Wars moments.
And like I said, some of those, I might not even care to flip those tokens for them. If it serves the narrative well enough, I might just be like, sure, that's what happens, totally. I don't care. Anyways, so we've done that. Evan, I think we should make some kind of check to see how this last hand of Pazak goes. What kind of check, though? Skullduggery? Streetwise? Computers?
Let's do a... it's not really a bluffing game. It's not like Sabak. So I'll do a... I'd like to do a streetwise cunning to know when to hold and when to hit.
Okay, so that's going to be just 2 green dice. And this, I'm going to do this against
for streetwise?
Streetwise? Yeah, I'm looking at the wrong.
Oh, I was going to say that's a green.
Streetwise, you got a yellow green. You've got a skill in Streetwise. Okay, so you're going to do a yellow green, and this is going to be versus do I want to make this against the droid's computer skill?
Probably.
Or just against his cunning? Let's make it against the droid's computer skill. So I'm just going to take his computer skill, flip it to...
It sounds like he's been doing some like high-level calculation kind of thing to beat Volkite consistently. So I think that makes more sense.
So you're going to roll a yellow-green.
Yep.
And the difficulty is going to be red, purple.
Okay. Well, I accidentally rolled too quickly. Red, purple.
Red, purple.
Jeez.
Oh, okay.
So you fail with a bunch of threats.
Yes, I do.
4 threat. So you lose the hand. All of the little holographic chips go over to Gator, and the threat, unless and I'm very open to suggestions on narrative ways to interpret these dice, especially if it's for your character. I'm gonna say you probably take a strain, and also you have a bit of a temper tantrum. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say there's one thing on the cheat sheet you gave us where 2 or 3 threat is like the active character accidentally reveals their own strength or flaw.
ooh.
I could see it being like a character moment where Volkite gets like whatever your weakness is kind of comes out a little bit. If it applies, it feels like a good Padawan kind of moment of like, oh, okay, this is what, Khalil gets a vision of like, oh, this is what I'm going to be dealing with.
Your emotional weakness was listed as coldness.
Yes.
If you can come up with a rant that exposes your vulnerability and your coldness, as the droid kind of beeps and like little holographic fireworks light up on his side of the table.
The only thing that comes to mind right now is to just sullenly sort of swipe across the playing area as though I was going to knock the chips away, but of course there's nothing there, so it just sort of makes the whole thing vanish.
You could also
I stalk off.
Yeah, you go into the spare cabin and the door slides shut behind you.
Yeah, I think we just see I've been kind of like leaning back, just like relaxing most of this time, trying to zone out the yelling about the game. But I think we just see me take note of it, like
10,
like okay, this is how he reacts to when he fails, kind of a thing.
10, who wasn't actually sleeping, eyes still closed, goes, "Told you." And then a beeping. You know what? Some indeterminate amount of time passes, and then a beeping goes off that summons 10 and Gator to the bridge, and he says over the intercom, he's like, "We're coming up on Crait," as they drop out of hyperspace.
Good. Kind of get up, do the organize my robes, pull them down, get them all unshuffled from laying there for like 5 hours, 6 hours or something. Go over to the extra cabin and just knock.
No answer.
Knock again.
Over the intercom.
We're about to arrive.
Oh, the intercom once again says, "Coming up on Crait." Usually, I don't get a lot of passengers, but usually they like to come stand in the cockpit and look at planets.
One moment.
What was that?
Just go a little slower as you approach the planet. One moment. Knock harder this time.
All right. And then the door slides open. I'm here.
Let's go see what Crait looks like.
All right. It probably looks like a big box.
Walk off that way towards the cockpit.
It's
a Borg cube.
With like a this side up on it. So you guys enter the cockpit. There's no co-pilot seat. There's just a space where the co-pilot seat should be, and that's where Gator is sitting, plugged into the console. There are 2 jump seats behind that space, sort of, like the Millennium Falcon has. And through the curved cockpit, you see the planet Crait come into view, and it's just kind of gray-white. Kind of about all there is to it.
Wow.
There it is.
Like the most boring planet I've ever seen.
Well, it's truthfully not a looker. You aren't wrong there, but perhaps it has a lot of exciting things going on under the cloud cover or something.
Nope, those aren't clouds. The whole planet's covered in salt.
Taste
Tourists like to lick it. You ever licked the planet?
Out.
Great.
Not intentionally.
I'm just kidding. There's no tourists here. I just said that to make myself feel better by licking it last time I was here.
So I take it this is a salt mine we're probably heading to? I say it to the pilot as if he knows, but...
Nope. I was here a few cycles back. They've got they're mining minerals. The planet's covered in salt. There's lots of mountains, and inside the mountains is all sorts of crystals and minerals and stuff. That's what they're pulling out of there. Shipping it off world.
I lean over to my master and say, "Isn't salt a mineral?"
I think you're right, but best not to argue semantics with the one operating the hyperdrive.
Okay.
Okay, well,
crystals though, that could be exciting to look at. And kind of like talk loudly suddenly so he doesn't notice the whispering.
Yeah, a lot of people like the crystals. They're very pretty. A lot of red ones. Red crystals.
I
Cool stuff.
shake my lightsaber and go, yeah, never seen a planet with crystals before, have we?
Wow, you're in for a real treat then, kid.
And I think you'll find that Jedi love red crystals in particular. I say as a sort of a joke to Volkite.
I didn't know you guys were into crystals. You know, some planets, they got crystals they say will heal you. I tried it. It made my skin itch.
Well, you know, maybe it works for some people. So how much longer till we're going to get down there?
About 2 minutes. Oh, and we're down. No. So he comes in.
Wow.
There's not like a landing pad or anything. It's just on the salt flat. You fly in. You see the settlement. It's full of 1 to 2 story, like rusty bronze looking buildings, set up in sort of a slipshod way. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of organization to the town. There's a larger building near the kind of the landing field that looks like it might be some sort of like processing place to pack up all the materials before they're shipped off planet. There's a number of freighters just parked outside of the town because it's basically almost up to the base of a mountain range. So there's the town, and on one side is a mountain range a little ways off, and on the other side is just this kind of endless salt flat, and the salt flat is where everybody's all the ships are landing. So the ship settles down there, a little ways outside of town, and he goes, "All right, we're here. I'll see you whenever. You got my my comlink frequency?"
Shake the little thing at him. He can tell it to me, I guess, if I don't have it, but
It's 1, 2,
okay.
4 alpha.
Whoa.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, 10 minutes later, you've got it written down and saved in your thing.
Shake my little comlink at him.
Have fun doing whatever you Jedi got to do here. Gator and I will be here tuning up the Ash Angel.
I appreciate it.
All
right,
as
let's
you
go
descend,
see what this boss mayor has to say.
You notice the ground sort of as you step on it has like a dark blood red underneath the thin layer of salt, and there's a speeder sitting there waiting. With
I bend down and wipe away at the ground. What? This is wizard.
Certainly more exciting once we're down here than a ball of salt sounds like from the sky, that's for sure. Can't say I've ever seen anything quite like it. Do the same, kind of bend down and just like run my hand through it. Does seem like the kind of thing that's going to get everywhere before we're off of the planet.
Yeah. I look at Master and I like have some salt on my fingers and like, you gonna do it or am I gonna do it?
I don't see why we both shouldn't do it. I lick my finger and put it through the dirt. And
all right, I wipe it off.
Try it.
I wipe it off.
I assume that someone at the temple would have told us if this was gonna hurt us. We just lick the salt.
Nothing happens to you other than you taste salt.
It's pretty good. Tastes like salt.
There's the speeder that's parked not too far away, sort of at like kind of the boundary of the landing area. There's the human sitting in the driver's seat staring at you guys. You coming or what?
Yeah, pick myself up once again. Sort of pat the little bit of salt that's already probably like on my boots and legs.
Yeah, there's a little bit drifting down, almost like a light snow.
Yeah, and just go, okay. Yep, we're coming.
All right. You the Jedi?
Look down at both of our outfits. Yep.
You think you're some kind of wise guy?
Well, when a certain types of question comes my way, I just, can't help myself. I'm sorry. It's nice to meet
Get
you.
in. I'm supposed to take you to the boss mayor.
We appreciate you doing so.
Yeah.
Hop into the speeder.
All right. He takes off. He takes you through the town.
I'm in the speeder too.
Yes, you are.
You left.
You guys are in the back seat.
You didn't explicitly state you were in. You're behind.
Yep, we're running this real strict. You didn't say you're in. You're left behind. You're gonna have to take 5 turns of maneuvers to catch back up.
Oh, wow.
He takes you through the town. You see there's a lot of like dirty looking working people. Some of them are sitting outside at like, there's like a little cafe where they're eating. You see, it's just basically like a company town for these miners. There's some saloons and places set up. There's what looks like a lot of housing. There's some taller buildings that look like maybe they're more kind of like corporate headquarter type places, and near the other side of town on that edge is one of these buildings, and you see there's some speeders parked over there, and you see there's sort of a system where they're having vehicles go towards the mountain and back to the place to dump off their material. The speeder you're riding in parks in front of one of these more kind of officious looking buildings, and he's like, all right, he's in there.
Thank you very much.
I get out.
I also get out.
Okay. Well, you guys
go in.
You go in, and there's just kind of a desk with there's a man behind the desk. He's probably in his late 50s. He's got gray hair that's starting to thin on top, and he's got like a 80s cop mustache. He looks
Mayor
up.
Keller?
That's Boss Mayor Keller.
Excuse me, Boss Mayor Keller.
You must be the Jedi.
That's correct. Heard you have a problem with missing persons.
I don't have a problem with missing people. Everyone else around here has a problem with missing people.
Well, I'm happy to help everybody else.
Yeah.
How can you help us do that for them?
Okay, well, I don't know why they all insisted that I call in you guys. I think it's the Republic's fault everything been happening around here. So, the people going missing in the mines and in the town, running out of workers, people too afraid to work.
Why would they be too afraid to work?
Because they don't want to go missing. They think, oh, I go in the mines, I might not come back. I tell them that's just a fact of working in the mines. It happens to some people.
You said you don't have a problem with missing people. So people are missing and you don't have a problem, or people are not going missing?
Oh, people are missing.
And you just said it's a problem because...
No, I said other people think that is a problem.
Yeah, but you just said that you're running out of people to go work, so I'm just trying to figure out what you're trying to say.
I think what my padawan here is saying is, even though you may not think the nature of the missing is a problem, you have a problem of your own.
Labor, I can deal with. It's not a problem to replace people. I call up the Yushin corporate headquarters. They send me 20 more. They send me droids who can do this too. People go missing, that's less payroll I gotta pay this week. It's not my problem. It's their problem. It's these people who say, oh, my husband, he's not coming home. You know what?
Well, why don't you help us take what sound to be like a lot of complaints you're receiving from the people that are still here with you off of your plate. And
please.
I know obviously mining is dangerous, like you said. Accidents happen. We even were discussing as such on our way here. But what's the nature of these specific missing incidents? I mean, a missing person is very different than a mining accident. bit of machinery snaps and crushes someone, that's one thing. But if you're not finding these people, if no one knows where they went, that's something very different.
That is
What are you all
right.
encountering?
Very smart, Mr. Jedi. No bodies. Normally we got bodies, even if we gotta suck them up with a straw. These time, no bodies. Okay, let me lay it out for you. I'll give you the evidence, then I can get back to work. A month or two back, one of you Republic types came out here. Okay, he looks at his data pad, he's scrolling. Some rich guy, more money than my boss, more money than his boss's boss. At least that's what it seemed like. His name was Ethan Ravenlock. Okay, he called me up one day. He said, I'm coming out there. I want to look in your minds. I said, you don't work for the Yushin Corporation. We worked something out. Okay? So he came out. He had a crew. He had a crew with him. They didn't say too much. They just wanted to look in the minds. And you know what? Something about our relationship made me think that was okay. He's like kind of unconsciously touching a very nice looking wristwatch device he has. They borrowed a few speeders from us, took them over there. They rented, you know how speeders are. Did you guys pay the rental guy?
He didn't ask for any credits. I assumed it was a courtesy.
Leon. He pushes like a button on his desk. Susan, remind me to fire Leon. Yes, sir. And it unclicks. Anyway, 2 days later, they come speeding back. They went out there with 7, 10 guys all loaded up with packs and scanners and equipment and cameras. They come back, only 2 left, this Ravenlock guy and one other person. Before I could ask them anything, they're back on their ship and they're left the planet. So I said, okay. We never found their bodies in the mines. Those mines are like a maze, catacomb. Our people, they only stick to the places we've got mapped and illuminated for safety, you know, because we care or whatever company line is. You wander off those paths, you go missing, you don't come back. Everybody here knows not to do that. So we said, okay, they wandered too far, they went missing, whatever, that's a risk. But then, ever since then, people say that their people are going missing. I say maybe they wandered off, maybe whatever. They say no. Our people know, don't go off the marked paths in the mines. Not without the recon, not without the surveying. People have just started going missing. They go out to work. Some people don't come back. Sometimes people say they wake up and the person who lives with them is not there. All this started after that Republic type was here. He's behind this. I need you to fix it before I lose any more people. And then I got an uprising on my hands because they think it's my fault because apparently I'm in charge. So everything must be my fault.
So in addition to the people that are going missing in the mine, you're saying there are also some people that are waking up to find that someone in here in the town has also gone missing.
That's what they're saying to me. They're saying, "Oh, this person was they're gone. They didn't go into the mine that day. Last time I saw him, he was in town." That's what they're saying to me. That's what I got written here.
Anyone at all who's come to you or has been speaking with others in town, you know, if it's had a close call that happened to be with someone right before they were missing, someone who might know something more? I mean, certainly not unusual for us to go dig around in dark holes on various planets and see what creatures are down there, but figure
tell you
might be a faster way to approach this problem if you know of anyone who could help.
By my count, most of these people who go missing when they're on the job. So I think they're just wandering off like morons. One person I know of did say they went missing out of the barracks. So you could start there if you don't want to start in the mines, but I think the mines are probably where you're going to find them if you guys don't get lost in there yourself.
What would you say, Padawan? If you were the master in this case, which of the two would you go?
Oh, well, I mean, the barracks are closer, right? So
probably on the way to some extent.
Start there. I mean, if we find the answer more easily and quicker there, well, let's not get lost in the mines when we could just answer the question in like 5 minutes and then go home.
I agree. We will head to the barracks and see what we can do talking to the miners there. Maybe someone will have something that could guide us a little bit on the way, but I promise you we'll do everything we can to get this sorted.
Good, I'm sick of it. It's a pain. And you
only imagine.
You Jedi type. You work for free, right?
In a immediate sort of transaction way, yes.
Cool. I like you guys.
Consider it a
we usually get paid in food.
Maybe one of the people at the barracks can throw you a spare ration. He pushes a button on his desk and the front door opens up. And he's just looking down at his computer again.
Well then, let's head to this barracks and see if maybe any of the miners know anything additionally. And I hate to say it, but I feel like we're going to find ourselves down in the mines sooner than later. But let's go see. Maybe someone has a hunch, saw something, any bit of information. But it sounds like this is like kind of as we're walking out, I think.
Yeah, you're in transit to the kind of the residential area.
My feel is that
These people are a bunch of morons. They're getting lost. Blah 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 blah.
My feeling is that this Ethan Ravenlock and his crew he went down. That's not a name that I know, is it?
It's a fake name.
It's not.
Yeah, not only is it maybe a fake name, but I mean it's not like a family name or something. I have like lore.
It's not a name you should know as like a Star Wars fan. I'll tell you, it's a name I made up.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't recognize it.
I don't think your character knows it either.
Then it sounds like this individual and his crew came in and were looking for something and either found it and it's now out in the area taking people, or they kicked something up and woke something up on their quest to find something else. But either way, it seems like he left empty-handed.
I'm sure it's just going to be some ancient evil stuck in a crystal and someone broke it and an evil ghost came out and is eating people who are lost souls because they're here on their last legs for looking for their last break and no one's going to miss them. Classic story.
Well, I hope you studied up on your ghost fighting because that's not exactly something I'm experienced with.
There's just a lady in miner's clothes kind of walked by as you were saying that, and she gave you like a real dirty look and then kept walking.
Good evening. Walk by. It's like midday.
Yeah, what's the weather like? I meant to ask when we
There's a light dusting of salt flakes coming down, otherwise clear.
Cold?
No.
Cold and dry, probably?
It's probably like 60.
Winter in Arizona.
Yeah, it's whatever temperature it is for me right now. 56 Fahrenheit.
Oh, that's
quantum linked areas, Arizona and Crait.
Crait, of course.
Yeah, I think I head that way, and after that interaction with the woman, just try to keep our like voices down a little bit, lower, get Volkite to kind of lower the profile a little. As much as I can.
When you approach the residential area, it's less of a barracks and more of like a little neighborhood full of very small houses that are all this kind of same brownish bronze rusty color. Each one is identical. They have like a little, just kind of like a front door and a couple little windows, almost like if you took like a typical like Tatooine homestead house, none of it was underground, and it was all very square instead of round, and then like a metal color. There's very randomly
Very
placed Star
utilitarian.
Warsy antenna on top of it. A lot of pointless knobs and greebles here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just would make our way up and just kind of, I assume this is like a semi-public. It sounds like it's just like a group
Yeah, it's not fenced off
barracks
either.
thing. So I would just kind of walk up and see if anyone's outside, and if not, I would just kind of basically peek up, like step right inside the door to see who maybe is there that we can try to talk to.
You walk up to a door of one of them, and as you like hover your finger over like the chime, it whooshes open, and there's a woman there in the mining outfit, which is some sort of like gray coveralls that are started to become stained kind of white and red from the salt and the red crystals of the planet. She's a human woman, and she goes, "Are you the Jedi?
We are.
You're here to find the missing people?"
We are.
Come
That's what
in.
we came here to hopefully speak with some of you about.
Please come in. Did you talk to Dodge Keller?
We did. He
Well, at least
talked at us a little more than we talked with him, but he at least pointed us in your direction, which I'm hoping
he
is a good thing.
he got word out to the Republic.
We came from
He was
Starlight Beacon
very
as quickly as we could.
he was very reluctant, but luckily for us, he's also very concerned about his ap- public appearance. He wants to be popular. We use that to our advantage now and then, but this time she she go, sit down. Do you need some? Would you like some tea?
If you're making some, I'll take some, but if not, I'm fine.
Yes, please.
She hands both of you cups of water that they're cold and they taste just kind of like salty. Um, that's about it. Just basically salt water. That's all I have. I hope that's okay. Do
Ah,
you,
some of
are
that
you
Crait salt tea.
what? I need. Are you here to learn about? Sorry, I immediately went to a Star Wars name generator, and the first one I looked at is what I'm gonna go with. I, can you please find my husband, Snogrut?
Nogret?
Snogrut.
If we're able, we
That's
would
that's
love
his
to be able
first
to find
name.
him.
Yes, it's his first name, Snogrut. I'm
Oh,
his wife,
okay.
Margaret.
Margaret and Snogret.
Yeah.
Classic. Classic.
Can
That does have that sort of like
he?
90s like DW visual guide book of like, here's these two characters from the back of this scene, Snogret and Margaret. And you're like,
He was
how does that
taken.
feel?
He was
The
taken
Miner's
3 days
Tale.
ago.
Where was he taken from? Down in the mines or
No,
from
our
here?
home. We went to bed here, and she shows you the bed. It's basically like a studio apartment. There's like a twin size
Yeah, it's
bed.
like we can see it from inside here.
Yeah, there's a twin size bed with like a very thin sheet on it, and like there's like a little hollow picture of them holding hands next to it. Um,
What did you notice when you woke up and he was missing, or did
I
you notice anything in the night?
I woke up and then I heard him. I heard a yell, and I walked over to the window, and she's kind of like reenacting. She goes over to this little window, pushes a button, and these kind of slides open up, and it's just outside. You can see, because this is right on the edge of town, you can see the mountains in the distance. I heard a yell. It was at night, so I couldn't see very far. It gets very dark here. But I heard a yell in the direction of the mountains. And when I went outside, there were tracks in the snow outside of our, not the snow,
The
salt.
salt.
There were tracks leading off towards the mountains. By the morning, they had disappeared. with the salt fall, but I know something took him off in the direction of the mountains. In the mines, it looked like it was following the path that we used to go back and forth to the mines.
What did these tracks look like? Were they boots, like something your husband would wear, or the other miners,
or
something
drag
different?
line?
It was not boots. It was some kind of some kind of creature. I don't know how to describe it, but I know what boot tracks look like on a lot of different species, and it wasn't that. It took him to the mines, took them all to the mines. I'm not the only one to have to lose someone in town. Most people have gone missing while working in the mines. I know that Dodge Keller says he thinks people are just wandering and getting lost, but that doesn't happen to us. We have checks. We make sure we don't go off the trail. We check in with each other. We're all very safe.
I have no doubt that any miner worth their, and I look out the window, salt, would.
There's the eye roll.
I'm gonna.
Worth their salt would.
I'm gonna.
Almost...
Sorry, I'm gonna flip one of the destiny points to light side for that. That was good.
Oh, salt jokes give us light side points.
Bad jokes. All right.
Yeah, I say any miner worth their salt here, at least a few months of experience, wouldn't go wandering off. Certainly not the number of people it seems like Boss Mayor Keller communicated to us have gone missing. So it's a very strange report. Have you talked to anyone else in the town who's seen the same thing, tracks, heard anything?
No one else has seen or heard anything. Just people go missing. I'm the only one who said they saw tracks.
So, a monster took your husband, and there was no sign of how it got in, how it got hold of your husband.
Was the window open when you woke up? Was there any blood, anything but the yell?
Just the yell. The window was open. The front door was unlocked, but we usually don't lock it anyways.
Jeez, I would.
You know what?
He mumbles.
You and your son can go back to the Republic. I'll find someone else who can help us.
We're absolutely going to help. I'm sorry if we're asking too many questions. We just want to make sure before we go digging directly.
I don't
into
mind
the
that you're
mine
asking
we know
questions.
everything
What I
we
mind
can.
is that your son is. He seems to be trivializing. My husband is missing. He got snatched by a monster in the middle of the night, and I may never see him again. I never even got to tell him about our son. I was gonna tell
You
him.
are totally
She's
right.
starting to cry.
I apologize now. Volkite is not my son. He's my padawan, sort of a
Your
Jedi
what?
Knight in training, if you will.
Oh.
You can think of it as like an apprenticeship, something like that. But you were correct.
You're not doing a good job.
He's being, well, it's early on yet, but I appreciate the feedback. I will take it into consideration.
Go find my husband.
Trust me, we will go and we will do what we need to do to find him one way or the other. Even if it's weeks of digging around through the maze mines, we'll find it. Apologize that we came off a little cruder than we meant to.
I will forgive you if you find my husband and bring it back to me.
That gives us a great goal. I kind of gesture to Volkite and be like, well, let's go.
And you guys leave. Yeah, you're outside again. The door closes behind you.
I use the force to slam the door.
You know what? Let's make our very first force skill check. Shall we?
No, that was not what I was going for.
Oh, do you not
The
want
door
to?
explodes.
No, absolutely we should.
Oh, okay. Well, I want you to make a force check because let's see if your Padawan is capable of doing things like that.
How do I do that? That's the question.
So you have the force skill of move. Okay.
Yes.
You have a force rating of 1. That's probably listed somewhere on your sheets.
Yes.
What you need to do, let me find move in our big book of spells. in here somewhere. I have it marked in these pages. Force powers. Force power tree, battle meditation, bind.
Yeah, I have for move. It says the user may spend force points to move one object of silhouette 0 that is within short range up to his maximum range. The default maximum range is short range.
Okay, so roll a force die. Because
That
you
I
are
can do.
force rating 1, you get to roll exactly 1 force die to generate force points. You rolled a dark side point. You may, if you want, spend that force point. How much does it take to... The user may spend 1 force point. Okay.
Yeah, 1.
So you could spend that point to move the door shut. If you do, since it is a dark side point, you will generate 1 conflict, which may or may not affect your morality at the end of the session. Morality being basically where you sit on the light side, dark side meter. I don't remember where we placed you. I think you were at like 70 or 60 or something. 50 being right in the middle, 0 being your Darth Sidious, 100 being your Obi-Wan. So it's up to you if you want to.
I said I was using the force to slam the door.
And it's certainly a dark side-ish thing to do more than a light side.
Come on.
You,
it's being a person.
Well, yeah.
You pass the skill check and it slams. You hear like a muffled little yelp of Margaret's surprise as you do that. And I will notate that Volkite has 1 conflict.
I think I definitely take note of that, and as we're walking off towards the mines in this direction, I say, you know that she was right. Both about what she said about you and also what she said about me, and
Just
I'm not doing perhaps the best job for you. And that,
point of information, there's like a bunch of speeders docked.
Oh, because it's far away, right?
It's not close enough to be a convenient walk.
Okay.
So you'll need to take a speeder.
Okay, so then we're heading over to the speeder.
And they don't seem like restricted or anything, so if you just take one, I don't think anyone's going to give you any trouble. Okay, continue.
Yeah, and I just say that, she was right, and a good skill to learn, especially with the kind of work that I tend to be stuck with doing and have the ability to do, is that we will often find these people and sort of gesture out to the town being just a passing moment in our lives. But we're entering into the middle of their everyday, their whole life. So the way we carry ourselves in relation to the event that they're calling us in for is very important. Even if I might be thinking some of the same things you think in my head, it's not our place to vocalize some of these things. And we need to understand that, very often you'll run into people that are having the worst day of their life, the worst year, maybe the last day of their life. It's at least on us to give them some good grace in that. But I'll be sure to, put my boot down a little bit more in the future. Let's take a speeder over to the mines.
Okay, you guys take the speeder to the mine. It's a very uneventful.
I don't say a thing.
It's a very flat journey. You get to the mine. There's a place where other speeders are parked. There's people kind of. Actually, no, there is no people. Work has been shut down because people have kind of protested because of the disappearances. But you see, there's a couple speeders there. There's, where the entrance. There's a wide entrance that feeds into the mine, and you see a number of like carts on rails and miney type things. There's lots of paths going off. Most of them are illuminated, marked, well worked. And so you just kind of have to decide where you want to go. There's 3 primary branches off like the main chamber. There's a lot of like equipment and like buckets full of red crystals in this big open chamber at the opening of the mine, and then there's 3 shafts that kind of branch off. And then you can see as you look farther down, they seem to branch even more.
Honestly, I'm not quite sure how to approach this other than just we go dig around the mine.
Why don't you guys make a perception check?
Okay. Perception, cunning. And I use the green die. The green die are like the base die, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, your perception.
Mine's just 2, just for my cunning.
Yep, 2 green. Volkite's perception is yellow-green, and just do it against 1 purple.
Just 1 purple, okay.
Okay, so you both succeed. You don't actually see anything, but you feel this like general sense of kind of unease and sort of general darkness coming from the path on the left. Like when you look at the path on the left, you get this kind of sinking feeling deep inside that you don't get when you look at the other two.
It does the like Lord of the Rings Nazgul on the road punch zoom thing. It does the like
The left path feels sinister.
I was just feeling the same thing.
That's a Latin joke.
The pun the light side point I awarded via pun if I remove this via pun, even though you know what, it's gonna stay. Heal your strain. You can have your strain back for that pun.
There's a minor pun.
Because they're minors.
Oh, I didn't mean that actually.
Unintentional pun means no. Maybe if the puns keep rolling, I will find ways to mechanically reward or punish you for them.
I also felt something strange to the left, so perhaps we follow our intuition and the force in this. See what it can guide us to.
Does it smell any different? Like, does the wind pick up at all?
No. There's no wind inside. The ground, everything inside is very that deep dark red color. The lights hanging from the thing are just kind of like a yellow light that kind of run along the tops of each of the paths. So you go down that path for a while. There's basically you keep following this sense of dread as the paths branch more and more. Eventually they're not marked, they're not lit. You end up using your lightsabers as flashlights. You keep following this sense of foreboding through uncharted paths. As you go, you don't see any sign of any creatures or miners or anybody until you slip through kind of a small crack and you find yourself in not nearly as big as the opening to the mine, but there's an open area again, and in front of you is actually maybe about 12 feet tall. One wall of this chamber is actually carved nicely in like this kind of facade with a door on it. It almost looks like some kind of like humble chapel with a door.
Well, that certainly looks out of place.
Yeah, that's not creepy at all, is it?
Have a sneaking suspicion that this, or things like it, may have been what the Ethan Ravenlock character we heard about was looking for. I would let us tread lightly going forward. We both. Yeah. So we said this before when we were doing character creation early on, right? But we both have lightsabers with a basic Jedi gear, right?
Yeah.
With us, and yeah. So I think I take it out, but I don't take it.
Your lightsaber
I don't turn
is actually already out and on because
we're
lighting. Your only source of illumination.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. When I said it, I was like, oh, we need light though somehow. So, Cool. So yeah, I've got it out at
The
the
red
ready.
walls are covered in a blue and yellow light, right? That's
Yeah, I have a
Volkite has a
yellow.
blue lightsaber and Khalil has a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, I like to think of it as gold, but you said yellow, so whatever. But yeah, yellow.
You and gold.
Out at the ready, and yeah, I mean, I think I'm just gonna kind of take that sort of protective, slightly forward stance, and just go closely towards this door. I mean, is it like a big stone door? Is it just like a doorway that we can go through?
It appears to be made out of the same sort of like deep red crystal that kind of a lot of the basically all of the surroundings are either this kind of like standard looking rock type stuff or this red crystal, and the whole facade including the door seems to be carved out of this red crystal.
Is there any writing either on the walls or on the door?
No.
Just a door. Well, then I will take the forward stance, like I said, and kind of move up, and just when I get up to the door, before I sort of try to push it, see if it's able to be pushed open on one side or the other, that kind of thing. Just eyeball Volkite and be like, like, be ready.
Wait, so you're pushing the door open?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm standing back, just kind of behind, but off to the side, so that I can see what's coming as he's opening the door.
The door swings open surprisingly smoothly for its size. It's, a good half a foot, 10 inches thick. But it just kind of swings open into a room, and the room beyond is illuminated. It's almost like the interior of a small church, if you want to think of it that way, but there's no pews or anything. Just at one end of the room, there's something that looks sort of like an altar. There's some carvings along the sides, and there is a door that leads off to the left on the other end of the room by the altar. But there are also a number of the crystals kind of along the walls are actually glowing and giving off plenty of light.
Beginning to think that your alien, or not alien, I'm beginning to think that your ghost theory could be more likely than we thought.
See, I told you. You see enough hollows, you learn a few things.
I can't say I was expecting to find something like this down here. Is this of a make, of a style of, like a style of architecture, like anything like that I kind of recognize?
No,
like, does this look like it's just very standard, like a simple carving?
Definitely not standard. If I had to describe it, I would say sinister. The feeling you guys are following is definitely like, it's at full volume now.
Yeah. Does it? I guess what I mean is, as with having Jedi training, does this read to me as like Sith? Is that a thing even that I think of, or is this just like it's clearly not good?
I think in the back of your mind something might be ringing little Sith bells, but
Ding, ding, ding,
because
ding,
the Sith have been gone for millennia and aren't, the Sith aren't a thing. They've been dead, wiped out by the Jedi thousands of years ago. It's not something your mind immediately jumps to, and it's something you sort of learned about in your studies, but
okay.
So
it's more that general, like, this is something bad, something dark here, but not much more than that I initially jumped to.
What are the carvings?
Why don't you let's make that an education check to look at the carvings along the walls and see if you can.
I don't think I'm gonna do too well on education.
Yeah, I'll do the same thing. It's gonna be my next question. My other one is, I'm just saying, I'm kind of just keeping lightsabers sort of at the defensive, ready for like these. I know that these crystals sound like they just are kind of like light sconces or whatever, but when I go someplace this deep, seemingly this old, and there's like power of some sort, I'm thinking like could this be some sort of defense? Is kind of where my head's at. So,
okay,
I'll
so
also try to look at these though as we
yeah,
go
if you
in.
both make an education check, you know what? You have a skill in it. I will say, you guy might be a little bit more educated than I remember, because you have a skill in lore. So
I do.
I'll say you can make a lore check. So you got yellow, green, one yellow, 3 green. Khalil has just not Khalil. Volkite has 2 green, and the difficulty here is going to be, what do we call 3 red? Hard?
Oh, it
Not 3
seems
red.
hard.
I'm sorry. Not 3 red.
Not 3 red. Okay.
Purple. It's gonna be three purple or more.
3 perps.
I'm
3
gonna look
purple.
at what they average, hard, daunting, formidable. Difficulty is okay. Yeah, we'll just call it hard, which is
Okay.
3.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So
Volkite
Volkite,
knows
you
nothing.
rolled a threat. So I want you to think about how you feel about not knowing this while we talk to Khalil, because you absolutely know what this is. The symbols on the wall are, it's a ancient Sith symbol. Like, hey, you're a Sith, slap this on the hood of your car kind of symbol.
It's a Sith Ichthus.
you knew that the Sith hood ornament would trigger Evan.
Oh, yo.
I don't know if it's exactly that symbol, the Sith Eternal symbol. I'm not sure if that's how long that's existed, but it's definitely a Sith logo that you recognize as a Sith logo. However, Volkite sees you coming to this realization, and I don't know, maybe you feel jealous that he's more educated than you or that you didn't know, but either take a strain or act out in some way.
Yeah, I think I'm just like looking it over and being like, I recognize this, but it's not something I ever thought I would need to know out on an actual job. I'm just kind of looking it over.
Not because you rolled a triumph. I will say, not only do you recognize it as Sith, you recognize it as like Sith circa, like the last great Jedi Sith war. Like there's certain facets of it that you know dates this to the last great war between the Sith and the Jedi. Like this is,
which you said was like thousands of years ago at this point.
Yeah, something like that.
Like pretty ancient. Yeah, so I'll just.
I mean, that'd be like Old Republic, like SWTOR type stuff.
Yeah, so I'm just I say that, I just say this is Sith, dark, and I think I probably, based on your description, don't even necessarily know how familiar Volkite would even be with that beyond just like a reference made in a history class or something, and be like dark Jedi, if you will, from long ago, thousands of years ago. We absolutely need to be on our best guard. I don't know what sort of creature would be involved here, but even just the presence of this place means perhaps there's things on Crait the Republic didn't know about.
For my threat, I, with GM's permission, Khalil is probably saying all this, but not making eye contact with Volkite, and Volkite has just walked away. Like he huffed and then went as far away from him as possible. So, and like as Khalil finishes that, he turns and sees, oh, Volkite's not there.
Yeah, like look down to say that
the entrance, because you basically got a couple options. It's a long room. The one direction is the direction you came, that door. The other direction is this mysterious altar, and off to the side of that is another door.
I've gone through that door to the left of the altar.
Okay. Well, I guess It's like an opening door.
Oh,
You find
no.
yourself. There wasn't like a door, more like an opening, and
Okay.
it's more like you
Well,
notice
I didn't just like skip on through. Like I just
pulps
ignored everything that
through.
was being talked at me, and I walked through. I have my lightsaber at low guard position,
Are you
and
paying attention to anything? Or are you just sort of sulking?
I'm paying attention to walking through a dark area, waiting for some monster to come out so I can kill it and be on my way.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're like, I don't know anything about that, but I can be useful over here. I'm going to clear this room.
You're
Kind of thing. Yeah.
it's pretty much like a tunnel that's tall enough where if, your lightsaber is not going to hit the ceiling, but it's a little claustrophobic, and it's not carved like deliberately the way the previous room was. The last one looked like architecture that people made. This looks like maybe a natural formation, or maybe dug out in a more crude way.
So yeah, I mean, if I look down and I see that,
But it's a ton. Oh, and you can see a little ways down. There's more of that kind of like red, glowing, like crystal light a little farther down. But there's none in the tunnel where you are.
All right. Well, I carefully make my way through the tunnel.
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
I mean,
you keep going.
after
Where's
after a
Nancy?
moment, I was gonna say after a moment of kind of saying that to myself and looking over this, and then looking down and seeing Volkite's not there, looking back to the entrance we came in, and then probably still seeing a little bit of faint glow of that lightsaber through the door or something over there. Then I just still like lightsaber sort of up at an active guard, go pretty quickly through that way to try to get back to him.
I want you to make a perception check,
Okay.
Khalil. Because you are running, though it's not great lighting, and you're a little, like, oh god, where'd my padawan go? It'll be
Okay.
presumably try and use move.
I just wanted to know if I could pull him around if I needed to.
You don't have
A leash.
the
Yeah, not
powered up enough.
ranked
You
enough.
haven't unlocked the skills yet to do a larger size.
So I'm going to so just in the quick moment, if I look down at this corpse, sort of like seeing where he is off in the front, and then looking and then kicking and look down at this corpse, what do I see? Like, what does this body look like?
It's distinctly not one of the miners. It's dressed in not like fancy clothes, but they look like expensive kind of excursion clothes, like maybe what someone would buy to like go on some kind of adventure if they had a lot of money, like a vest with a lot of
REI,
pockets and yeah.
North
It,
Face kind of stuff.
yeah, that kind of stuff, but like it's like a headlamp that's been shattered and broken on their head. It is a human male. He's lying face up. His throat has clearly been just like torn out. A lot of blood that you can't quite make out just because it matches the color of the floor. But you can see that it's like slightly a different type of shiny.
So when I see that this seems to be someone from this expedition we heard about, and he seems to have been, cut open and killed
Yeah, his
that
eyes are
way,
wide open.
I'm just gonna go into like super active, like red alert perception mode in this area, and then I'm just gonna call out to Volkite and be like, Volkite, back here now. And kind of like gesturing to this body. But trying not to like yell at you, but trying to be like snippy.
No snips.
No, please no. Not snips. Not like this.
Am I in a position where I would even hear him?
Yes, you hear him. It's just like a straight empty tunnel between you two.
Okay. Oh, I'm debating. I've. Oh man, what do I do? I'm not good at being a disrespectful teenager.
Disrespect has its limits.
Yeah.
Is he scared? You've
I
never.
mean, you
I'm
might look
assuming.
back and see me over a body, like the glow of the lightsaber revealing this body.
I'm gonna assume Volkite's
Okay,
never
so
been in a situation like this. Although we do know
you would assume, but
yeah, he's been on the streets of Coruscant.
I at least turn around, and if I can, I guess I haven't gotten too far. If I can hear and see Master.
You see him and his lightsaber still glowing, and then you see like 2 feet sticking out. You can see the feet. The rest is, beyond the doorway.
I loudly whisper, "What did you do?"
Didn't do anything. I found something. Get here now.
But this goes on a ways. This is probably where the mystery monster is.
We will go together.
I don't think you're gonna fit through here.
It's a very small tunnel.
You could, if you were both standing side by side, you'd probably take up most of the width of it.
Okay, but like I could get through it.
Yeah, you could comfortably walk side by side, but
no, I like the idea of you being like, only I can do this.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was just going to keep getting narrower and narrower. Okay.
Since he's not cooperating immediately, I glance back down at the body. Is there anything that stands out to me, or is it just it's explorers? This guy got cut down. There's not like they're not holding something. There doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary otherwise. I'm just basically being, is there something that I would feel called to grab here or take with us? Something maybe it looks like it was taken from this place, or
there's like a data pad that's, it looks like it's broken. There's like a red crystal kind of stabbed into it.
Yeah, so Volkite not immediately cooperating, and me feeling it's more important that I'm in a better place to protect him and move in. I'm just going to pick that up basically and sort of tuck it back under the robes, like into my belt or whatever sort of like little satchel-y things
Your
we have, I guess, under the
RPG
robes.
history inventory space.
Yeah, I go, and it just disappears. And then I'm going to, still on like full perception high alert, just make my way over there quickly to Volkite, and then just kind of gesture for him to get to the side of me and sort of lead us further in. Knowing everything we've seen and everything, am I able to feel any forciness that is different, or is it still just that overwhelming sort of dread darkness feel here?
Yeah, you can't really like geolocate anything at this point. It's just kind of that same general sense of bad juju.
Yeah, and I think when I get up to Volkite, I kind of gesture for you to go to the side. I think I just say, "Look, you wanted to be in a hollow. Well, I'd say we're in one now. So act like it." And then start making my way slowly forward.
So, was that a dead guy?
It looked like, as we're still sort of slowly creeping forward, it looked like one of the expedition that the boss mayor told us about. That Ravenlock's men, expensive equipment, scanners, but he'd been cut straight through the throat, and it looks like it was done here. So we need to be on high alert. No blaster fire or anything like that, but we have every reason to believe that this thing is probably here. This is where it lives. This is its lair. This is something clearly not many other groups have found what we've found.
As you progress, the thing opens up into a large chamber. There's some of those glowing crystals around. The first thing you notice is another body. It looked like it was like trying to run back to that tunnel, but there's a huge like slash across the back, and they're dead. It was like a Rhodian. The long suction cup fingers were like reaching towards the doorway that you're stepping out of. It's dressed the same way as the last dead person that you came across. And then the room, it's a large cavern. Along the far wall, so it's sort of like curved. Along this wall are a number of what look like pods, and from your left to right, they appear to sort of almost be in various states. Each of these pods is the same kind of dark red color as the surrounding area, and as they from left to the ones on the left, they're all the same size. They're about maybe 5 feet tall by 3 feet wide, something like that. These kind of like organic, rocky, inorganic. This sort of both. There's like this mixture of like it almost looks like an egg. Um, the ones on the left are a little bit more fleshy looking and red, and as the one on the very far right is just these silver white crystals covering the whole thing, and in between is basically a spectrum of progression from that kind of fleshy red state to the fully crystallized crystal one on the right, and there's probably at least about 20 of them.
Do any of them seem? Did you say? I know you said it went all the way to like sort of a crystal white on the end. Are any of them busted open? You said they gave us that egg-like appearance, sort of feeling. This organic mixed with sort of like a hard.
The one on the
exterior.
very far right is like there isn't one there. You can see there used to be one, and there's one that's like split open. The one on the very far right, next to like the ones that are mostly fully crystal, and the ones on the left are, they're more red. They look a bit fleshy.
Yeah. Well, it seems Ravenlock and his men may have found an old breeding ground for some sort of Sith something. And I'll kind of gesture to that one that's busted out, and I would say, and I have a good feeling that whatever was in there is what's doing this.
You have a good feeling? I have a bad feeling about this.
I find whatever knowledge I can get is useful.
I'd like both of you to make a perception check again, and make it against 2 purple.
Perception against 2 purple. Okay. Failure and an advantage.
Come on, dice. 2 failure, 1 advantage.
We're
gonna die.
trying to figure out how to play that because you didn't see what I need to see.
Well, I assume we either miss something or we get got by something.
We're leaving, right? We're gonna leave right now, and we're gonna blow up the entrance to the cave. That seems like the right thing to do. Seal it up and put a big sign that says, "Don't go in here, monster inside."
This was buried far away and deep for a very long time, and yet still this got out. It is our job to put an end to it, one way or the other.
The advantage is you hear like noise. It sounds almost like scrabbling and rocks shaking. And it sounds like it's coming from like sort of above you on the far side of the room. Like there's you do notice, this isn't what you're making a perception check for. You do notice there's other like holes and caverns above the pods on the far side, and that's where it sounds like the sound is coming from.
Can we leave now?
As soon as we, put whatever's here to rest, I think. Come on. This will be a good learning experience. I go slowly forward. Just kind of look up in that direction. Try to illuminate my lightsaber as well as I can.
So what you see through one of those holes on the other side, a creature comes through. It looks like it's very humanoid in shape, although the head is very kind of squat. It's crawling along the wall, sort of like Spider-Man almost, as it works its way down to where the pods are. It's covered in these same white crystals. Almost think of the foxes, the Vulptexes from The Last Jedi. These fine, twinkly crystals, although it's not really making twinkly noises. It's covered in hard-looking white crystals. Some of them are a little bit more on the red side, matching the red. It crawls along the wall, and you notice that it's holding in one of its hands. It's crawling with 2 feet in one hand, almost like at first you think it's like a sack, like a big bag. But then you realize it's basically the same fleshy pod that like the pods on the left were.
Oh.
But you notice, because it's not like kind of filled up, it looks more like an empty sack. You notice there's like a form inside, and you hear like somebody shouting from inside it. And
I think we found our missing miners.
It places the sack in the row to the left, and then it slowly kind of stands to full height. It's probably about 7-8 feet, and it turns around and it sees both of you, and it like raises its claws. It's got very long fingers, long kind of crystal claw fingers.
I just put my lightsaber out sort of in front of me, very sort of duelist defense, defensive duelist style of like, and just kind of slowly walk in that direction. But I'm sort of waiting. I'm sort of assuming maybe a more bestial nature to it. And I'm assuming, I'm taking the stance of like, I'm going to let the boar charge me, and then I'm going to stab it, kind of a stance as I see this thing.
Okay, let's make some cool is the initiative check for if you know it's coming, right? Vigilance is when if you're surprised, I believe.
Yes.
So roll for cool. No, nothing against it. What is cool? Cool is presence.
So you said vigilant is if you're surprised.
Right. Like if it showed up behind you and you didn't know it was there, you'd roll vigilance.
Oh, okay.
Because you know it's there, you're rolling
yeah.
cool.
Okay, so I have a rank in that. So when you have a rank, that upgrades your green die to a yellow, right? So I would get 3 green die because I have 3 presents, but then I'm going to upgrade 1 to a yellow.
Correct. So you should have yellow, green, green.
Yeah, and what was the difficulty, or do we just do a straight roll for this?
Just nothing, yeah. Okay. And then the creature, in proper Star Wars the role-playing game fashion, the GM roles are not supposed to be private. And because we're doing it on the internet here, and I don't have dice in front of me, I'm going to just go with that, and I will not be able to fudge any rolls to help you guys.
That's great.
Okay, so I rolled a success, and so it looks like initiative for this is going to go one of you, the thing, and then one of you.
Okay.
Okay, let me get my little notepad. This was like the
I love it.
The thing that came with the Game Master's kit, because it was just a thing that I like glued onto the front of this notepad.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice.
Okay.
I think in my head, based on the sort of stances we had, it probably makes sense for me to be the one who acts first, unless Volkite's like going, Leroy Jenkins style. Now's my moment to shine.
Now,
but if you're starting to feel kind of overwhelmed, I think.
Yeah, the teenage bravado is gone.
Okay, well, so if Khalil is going first, you get was it 1 maneuver and then 2 actions? Maneuver is like moving, actions are like attacking, doing a force power check, a skill check. You can spend an action to gain a second maneuver. You are, let's see, we have spaces in this system are not, it's not like
range bands.
It's not grids, right? Yeah. So you are, I would say, what is it? Engaged, short, medium, long, and extreme. Then like extreme. So you are at long range. It's a pretty big room.
How far can I get in a turn? Moving still, presumably being able to attack or something.
To get from, let's see, medium to long, engaged to short. I don't know how to read this. I think 1 range band usually takes 2 maneuvers.
That's
okay.
Right.
And so,
yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry. Will you say again how many maneuvers I have and how many actions I have?
You get 1 maneuver, 2 actions, although you can spend one of your actions to get a second maneuver.
Okay.
And you can also take a stress to get another maneuver, right?
Yes.
So we're still pretty far from this thing.
Maneuvers also, you can take a guarded stance, which just makes when people are attacking you, they get black dice on their rolls.
Well, yeah. I mean, I want this thing I want to stick my neck out a little bit. Like, I want this thing to come from me, not to come from Volkite. If it comes, but I know I can't really get to it this turn, it sounds like. So I'm going to use an action to become, to turn it into a maneuver to get the full range band. So I get within what, medium?
I think you're like within, I'd say you're at medium.
And so I'll get up as much as I can basically to medium. And then I want to see, do I hear sounds coming from this sack? Does it seem like I'm standing there still very defensively? Does it seem like that person or something in it is alive? And do I see or hear any others in this area now that we're closer to those holes and stuff?
Don't hear any others, but the one that just got like planted, so to speak, is because the other ones are almost like big fleshy like balloons. It looks like they might be full of like a liquid or a gas or something. So you can't really have any idea what's in there. The one that it just set down is basically looks like a big fleshy bag that doesn't have anything inside it except a person who is like squirming, unable to tear their way out, and you can like hear muffled screams.
Okay, so then it sounds like that's all that I can do this turn. So I just use it to very like controlledly, basically like walk forward, still in this defensive stance. I guess for viewers, my specialization is Sorisu Defender, which I guess Obi-Wan is like the notable one of those you guys said from characters. So I'm thinking very original trilogy, that like, standing very like sort of stoically in this defensive central position with my lightsaber, just walking forward. I'm going to get up as close as I can, kind of separate out from Volkite with like me between him and this thing, and just be ready for it to come at me.
Okay, well, the thing, which is picture, well, it's like a big, like take a Wookiee, exchange all the fur for crystals, make the shoulders far broader, and then sink the head down a little bit, so where it's almost like not quite on the chest, but mostly. And it's sort of almost always, it kind of is hunching. It starts running at you, and it's going to have to take 2 maneuvers to get to you, but then it will spend an action to swing at you with its crystally claws.
Okay.
So now you two are at engaged range. Let's roll for this. Looks like it's just.
So do I roll anything to defend, or you just roll to see if you hit?
Yeah, it's
cool.
But I think the standard like melee difficulty.
It's been a while since I've played, so
just 2 purple. It's been a while since I've played like legitimately as well, so I think we're all going to be learning. You did not take a guarded stance, so unless you have any other like fancy skills for being a Sorisu defender.
Oh wait, was taking a guarded stance
that was
something
a maneuver,
I could have done?
As a maneuver, not an action.
Oh, so I used 2. I converted an action to a maneuver to move. Could I have used my other action, convert it to a maneuver, and take a guarded stance? I definitely described myself as being in a guarded stance, so I guess I didn't know there was a mechanical name for that. If that's a thing I can do, because I didn't really take any actions. You can
only exchange 1 action for maneuver. I don't think you can
for
do
a maneuver. Okay, that's fine then.
Yeah, you cannot perform more than 2 maneuvers during your turn.
Oh, okay, yeah. So no, I definitely would have rather get the space at the expense of sort of that defense.
So it's.
Do you have any talents that go in that would let you take something for free, or?
I do in terms of damage and stuff. The damage reduction.
You don't have any. Oh, okay. So it swings and it hits you with 2 advantage. This particular attack does 3 damage. So it succeeded for 3 plus 1 success. That makes 4 damage. I cannot crit because it can't. So you take 4 damage. What's your soak?
Cool. So I'm going to use my soak. Would be nothing, right? Or it's whatever our armor is, isn't it? So robe.
I think soak. I think you have a default.
Your soak is your brawn. Yes, soak equals brawn.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Yep.
My soak's 4 then.
Oh, so I guess you sort of shrug it off.
Boy.
You block it, but like not in a way that dismembered it.
I think I like try to go up and block it, and probably just like smashes, my sword arm against myself, and I kind of get knocked a little bit back, but not in a way that's lasting damage.
Yeah, you know what? Right, well, those advantages, I will say, is it knocked you. So the next time you make a thing, you're going to add a black die to it.
Okay. It still hit me pretty hard. It's like it dazed me a little bit.
Yeah.
It's Volkite.
All right. I see that Master seems to have this relatively well in hand. I'm going to close the distance to the bag. Is that? I assume it's the same distance to get to the bag as.
It's a little farther. So in 2 maneuvers, you're not going to be able to get there.
Okay.
So you can basically catch up to him, I guess.
Yeah, you could get up by me and then.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to do. Nope. That's it. I'm just moving.
Okay.
Done.
I mean, you could attack it because you can get up to where
Oh
they
yeah,
are.
you can get up because it came
I'm-
up, so you can get to engaged.
Okay, yeah. If it's there, I'm going to swing at the nearest of its legs.
Okay. Oh, and it looks like so lightsaber is a skill which does 6 damage, crits
Yeah,
on
2
2,
crits.
and does whatever breach and sunder are, which I have no idea.
Yeah, I will look real quick because I have it pulled up.
Okay, so lightsaber is a skill.
Mhm.
How do we know what your skill is in that?
It's in the combat block. So I've got yellow, green, green. It's a brawn based one.
So just so we know, Sunder requires advantage to activate. If activated multiple times in the same attack, each activation can be applied against the same weapon, potentially taking a weapon from undamaged to destroyed. So you can use it to destroy other enemies' weapons.
Oh,
And
okay.
breach.
Yeah, what is
And
breach?
weapons with breach burn through the toughest armor. They're often heavy weapons or starship weapons. Breach weapons ignore 1 point of armor for every rating of breach, meaning they also ignore 10 points of soak for every rating of breach. That rules.
So, oh yeah, 1 armor is equal to 10 soak. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, unless someone has mega soak, your lightsabers are never going to worry about the enemies.
Turns out lightsabers are good.
I mean,
Yeah, who
in
knew?
Edge of the Empire, I think it's like in all of these systems, they don't want the players to have lightsabers.
It's not like the D20 system where it's a long sword. All right.
So
Yes.
yeah, yellow, green, green against 2 purple.
Yellow, green, green, and 2 purple. Wow,
Ooh,
I can't do anything right.
You miss.
With
Just
3
making up
advantage.
miss.
Story, room for improvement.
Yeah, 3 advantage. You definitely get its attention.
Yeah.
So I
I'm
think, I mean,
gonna
spending.
bank those for master.
Yeah, you can just pass those on to him to add blue dice, or you could give the enemy a black dice. However you want to do those.
Ooh, yeah, I always forget about the black dice. Let's do. Okay, and since I guess this is more for the audience and to articulate my own thoughts, because the initiative can change, right? So the slots stay the same, but we could
who
switch.
goes can change.
Yeah, who goes can change. So we do get to have a little bit of a conversation now about who's going to take the next turn.
True. Yeah.
So if I stick a bunch of black dice on him on the thing, I want to try to get to the person in the sack.
Cool.
Because that's our job is to save people, right?
Yeah. No, I think that makes sense. I think like what we see is you kind of set this thing up for a combo. It's like you like set it off and kind of knock it a little bit back in a certain way that you line up something for me and give like, we give each other the eye and you're like, I'm going to go for that. You do this. I think that makes sense. I'm fine to go next.
Lightsaber 101 because that's all I know right now is 101.
Really tried to hit it and missed, but you guys are able to like roll with it. Okay. So we started the round again. So who's going first?
I'm taking the first slot.
Okay.
Sounds like.
Oh, okay, go for it.
Oh, sorry. If that's what I didn't know if that's what you meant. I thought it was like let me use this opportunity to try to get it before it can get at us.
I mean, I was gonna say I want to get to the victim in the bag before anything else, but
sure.
I'm
Go for it. No,
I'm gonna stick black dice on him so that
I
whichever
see.
one of us tries to go after.
No, yeah, go for that.
Mitigate. All right.
Yeah, if that's what you do is you miss and then you go run for it, then go do that.
That's the idea.
He goes for the bag.
So I go to the bag.
You go to the bag. You shouldn't have any trouble. If this were clumsy and random, I'd make you make a check to open it to see if you harmed the individual inside, but this isn't, so you easily just kind of cut open an end, I guess, or slice it, tauntaun style, and so like hands kind of breach out like a large C-section.
Wow.
There's a lot
Okay.
of like
Okay.
goop. There's a lot of goop. It's a miner. You can tell from the clothes it's a miner. The clothes are kind of tattered, and it's another human. It's a human man, and he's just kind of covered in this goop, and he's like his eyes are shut, and he's gasping for breath. He grabs your legs, and he like he's just kind of like flailing.
You're okay. You're okay, man. You're okay. Oh, ow, that smells awful. You're okay though. Just stand over there. Go that way. Go that way.
His
Pointing
feet are still in the
towards.
bag. It's like
I.
he tries to stand and he falls.
All right.
His
I guess I'm
eyes are
gonna
still
be.
like kind of sealed shut with
Yeah.
the goop. He's clawing at his face.
I'm doing everything I can to get this dude moving. That's my turn.
So now it is the creature who will be making another swing on Khalil. He will first. He'll take an aim. Both of his maneuvers he will spend to aim, which adds 2 blue dice. And then he'll do his thing. Were you spending one of your? You spent one, or how many of your advantages to give him black dice?
Is it one per advantage?
I think so.
If it's one per advantage, then all of them.
Oh, it takes 2 for 1.
Oh, doggone it! I knew it.
So you could give him 1 black die.
Okay, then yes.
Okay. It
I
misses
thought I was remembering
again.
incorrectly.
It misses again, but with a bunch of advantage. What can he do with that? Can't do a free maneuver. Don't need to do strain. I could negate your defensive bonuses. Doesn't matter. Basically, he's just gonna have 2 blue dice on his next attack.
Okay.
Okay.
So he misses. I think that I just sort of like step to the side slightly, and then I'm just going to.
Okay. What
bring
is
it
your
in.
lightsaber skill?
And attacking is an action, right?
Yes. So you can have your maneuver first. You could do, since you get 2 actions in 1 maneuver, you could do maneuver, attack, right? I don't think there's limits on how many times you can attack. So your maneuver, you could aim to add a blue die. If you spend 2 maneuvers to aim, you get 2 blue dice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just focused on trying to, especially now that there's like civilian here as well, I'm just trying to take this thing out as quickly as possible, I think. So I'm going to use my maneuver, just basically stand where I am, use my maneuver to aim, and then go for 1 attack. And likely going to use my second attack as well.
So yeah, blue die, and then whatever your lightsaber skill is versus 2 purple.
Get ready. I have 2 ranks in lightsaber, and I'm brawn 4. And I could actually use my intellect because I'm a Soresu defender. But guess what? My intellect is 4 too. I'm smart and strong.
You can use your intellect for your lightsaber attacks?
You can, yeah. Soresu technique.
Cool.
When you're making a check using the lightsaber skill, the character may use intellect instead of brawn. Okay, so and is there any difficulty on it, or I just do a straight
It's
roll?
always 2 purple for like engaged melee attacks.
Okay. So 3 success, 4 advantage, and a triumph.
Yes.
Pretty darn good.
Crit. I think you can auto crit with a triumph, but you can also lightsaber crits on. You can spend 2 advantages to crit with it. I almost immediately just said just outright kill it because that's what I do when someone rolls a triumph and clumsy and random, but that's not what we're doing here.
Yeah, so I mean, I would, like I said, really my goal is to as quickly, especially after seeing the Sith stuff, think this. I'm like, this is some sort of like ancient weapon creature. There's like a weakened miner guy here. Like Khalil's goal, my goal is basically if I could slash this thing in half in once, I would. So I'm happy to convert everything I can to crits, basically.
Okay. So
or
I
as
think
much
you can
damage or
crit
anything
multiple
like
times. So it does 6 damage. So 6, 7, 8. This is doing 9 damage. Crit twice. I guess 3 times if we use the triumph for another crit.
Yeah, and its
Let me
crit
see,
values too.
So that's 9 damage. Does this? Let me check the health on here.
Do we need to break out the crit chart?
I will have to break out the crit chart. Okay, so let's roll some crit stuff. We'll roll 1d100 for an 85. My crit cards are in my.
I have the list if you want it.
Oh, yeah, I have it here somewhere, but if you have it readily
You said
available.
85?
85.
Winded, it cannot voluntarily suffer strain until end of encounter.
Okay, and then we'll roll another one. This will be plus 10 because it already has a crit.
Right.
70.
70. Scattered senses. It gains no blue die until the end of encounter, which is nice because it just converted its advantage to that.
Yeah. Okay. And then now it has 2 crits, so this will be 29.
29? That's so low. Discouraging wound. Flip a light side destiny point to the dark side, or reverse for NPC. So you get to flip your other dark side over to us.
Okay.
Auspicious.
Right. That's pretty good. Now I have less power over you in this game. This game's all about me versus you guys.
Of course.
Yeah. So you like stab it or slash it across the chest and it reels back and it looks like you've grievously injured it. But it's still standing, if it not a little woozy.
So then I just sort of like recenter my lightsaber, and then just after sort of
You
seeing
have
it
one
sort
more
of
attack, don't you?
its center again, yeah, I just go and slash the other way.
Yeah, like a big X on him. All right, well, try and make that attack again.
X happens.
So yeah, so that's just my same roll I did last time essentially, but no blue die. Just 2 purple, my 2 green, and my 2 yellow. Okay.
So
success.
7 damage with another crit. 7. Yeah, it's dead. So feel free to describe its deadedness in whichever way you please.
Will you roll a D100 for me so I can see what the crit would be to inspire me?
80, 90, 100, 110.
Horrific injury, -1 penalty to random characteristic until injury is healed. So yeah, I think I like slash in and it's kind of recovering from the first attack. And I think I just do the like slash down as it's putting like an arm up in front of it and it just cuts through one of this thing's arms and then just come back and sort of slice it across, similar to the miner we saw. I like slice it across the throat.
Irony.
Okay, and it tumbles to the ground, and there's like a kind of like almost sounds like glass shattering as all the crystals hit the ground, and some of them break off. There's just you see in the meat under the crystals,
and then just sort of, have put my lightsaber like down in like a safe position to the side, and then just look to Volkite and be like, we have to see if there are any others. Like him, I mean, not like them. And gesture to the miner, not to the creature.
The he's finally like catching his breath and wiping his face, and he's like, "Thank you."
You're welcome.
At the moment, Volkite is kind of gawking at the rather handily dispatching of this hulking monster in what 2 significant sword strokes. So yeah, he's a little jaws dropped a little bit on that one. You've impressed the kid.
Okay, good. My goal is accomplished. So yeah, he tries not to, try not to sit in that too much, but basically like look to you, Volkite, and be like, make sure he's free of this, and we're going to make our way in further and see if we can find the others. With any luck, they're like him.
Yeah. Guy, just try to follow that tunnel out.
What? No. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving, you guys. I'm not going anywhere without you. You guys got the glowy sticks and the killing and the. No.
Yeah, the way back on the mine is a bit of a maze, so you wait here. Just wait in this room here.
I'm gonna wait within a couple meters of you guys.
Okay. Just
he throws
stay
up
at a safe distance back.
Blob of gunk.
As we like head in further, I'm like, do you know if there are more? Have you heard other cries, other noises? Are there other? Here?
I don't. Last thing I know, I was sipping on my calf outside my hut tonight, and then I was.
Oh, hey, what's your name?
My name? Oh,
yeah, what's your name?
Nassin Turkhorn.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Nice to meet you, Nassin. Stay at a safe distance back. We don't know if there's more of these things.
So he stands very close to you.
And then I'll look over to Volkite and be like, still have ourselves a Snogret to find.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, you know who a Snogret is?
Yeah, he used to work with that guy.
All right, well...
We think he's here too.
Do you think he's... Oh god, were they... He looks at all the pods. Was that going to happen to me?
I would not even attempt to guess just yet, but whatever's happening here is very old and very dark.
He goes over to one of the pod farthest on the left, the one that's the most fleshy looking, and he's like kneels at it, and he starts kind of like clawing at it. He's like, we got to get him out of there. We can't let this happen to anybody else. We got to get him out of there.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you need to
run over there with the lightsaber.
No. What'd you say?
I run over there with the lightsaber, getting ready to slice it open because he's right.
Okay. Do you?
And I was trying to say, wait a moment, but.
Well, I mean, I didn't get to the point of slicing it open because
I like you being like, you're right. We have to save you.
Okay. Well.
Okay. There we go.
You
slice it open.
The bottom.
Off the bottom
of it, and just a slush of this kind of goop slides out, and with it there's another person in minor clothes. The clothes have been sort of like corroded, but it's a person, and they're lying there. They're not moving.
I'll come over that way too.
The guy, he starts
down,
pounding on their chest, and he goes, "Tall, it's tall." And he starts hitting him on the chest, and after a few moments, the person who they like vomit up a bunch of the gunk and start coughing and oh my god, oh my god, is that you, Nason? It's me.
I look to you, Volkite, and kind of initially skeptical of your approach, just kind of say, get the others out then. And kind of give you like a nod of like, okay.
I nod with a little smile, a little smile, not a big one, a little one, and I go down the line.
Well, let's take them one at a time.
Yeah, and I'll say I want to. I will go in the direction of the ones that seem further along, if that makes sense. Like the more white, crystalline, overgrown ones.
So
I'm letting Volkite go to like the ones similar to where this guy is, like right in this area, and I'm going to the ones that seem maybe further along, with the mindset that I might have to like put these things down if they become a creature.
So yeah, Volkite is opening up some more, and the two miners are helping him tend to the people who come out, who you're noticing are more and more like their clothes are more degraded, and they're one of them is just dead, even though he seems otherwise fine. Um, Khalil, you open one that's starting to like get more crystals around it, and just a bunch of like of the goop comes out, and there's just some things that you recognize as human bones in it, and nothing else that slides out.
Okay, go to the next one.
Okay, the next one, there's just the goop and nothing, and then the next one, there's some sort of like almost fetal version of the crystal monster. It's just it dies when it comes out.
I just basically think to myself like, there's some strange ancient technology at work here that I don't like at all, and puts a very grim vibe over me. But once that side's clear, I'll go and see if I can help Volkite
There's a
free
few
anyone
more.
else.
So do you keep opening them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think
There's a couple
I think
more.
at this point we're in to clear the room.
The next one you open is similar. It's a little bit more fully formed, but it's not as mature as the other one. And then uh so it's sitting there like just kind of like squirming on the ground.
The next one that we open.
Yeah, it's like more mature, but not enough to like fight you. Just
What's
sort
my
of like
like?
fleshy crystal creature.
Yeah. So if I sort of like take a moment to like close my eyes and collect myself, what's like the force vibe I get from it? Like, what do I feel?
You can feel the people behind you with Volkite, and they feel distinctly different from this thing. Like you can tell that's not a human. Like it's not like them. It's not
But does it seem like a
sentient.
does
It's
it seem
not.
like an animal, or does it seem like
It
something
definitely. It feels like some
darker?
kind of animal creature type thing. You don't sense any like inherent darkness in it. It feels the way like you've sort of felt this before when you've been on other planets and encountered just like predators like wild cats and things.
Does it seem to be in pain or like distress? Like cutting it out of this, is this killing it?
Yeah, it feels like the way it would feel if you cut a chicken out of its egg too soon.
Yeah, so I think I kind of close my eyes and feel that, and I just kind of like, kind of like disappointedly sort of like shake that out of my head, and I'll just like cut down through it basically
Okay.
with the
It's
lightsaber. Like very like basically
yeah.
like I already did harm to this thing that maybe isn't necessarily inherently bad, but there's no point in it, suffering longer essentially.
Okay, there's one more thing, and this one is like fully crystal pod. The next one is the pod that looked like the original
They
guy
bust
hatched
it
out
open.
of.
Yeah, so then I'll look to Volkite at the next one and be like, I think we can tell what's going on here. So be on your guard for this one. May be able to fight more, but we can't let these things stay. We can't let these things live, not with what they were clearly doing to the people here.
Well, hopefully this is the last of them.
Hopefully.
How many pods total did we count?
Uh,
I think you
there's
said like
like 20
10,
of
like 5
them.
on each side. Oh no, yeah, you did say
Like
20, I think, like 10 on each
That's
side.
what I thought.
yeah, you've
Okay.
got about 6. You got about 5 survivors, a couple like dead people, and a lot of
Mhm.
bones, and then
Okay.
a
Okay.
couple of the dead things.
So yeah, then I'll cut through and try to clear the crystal off the edge of this one, free it, but kind of at that like I'm raring for like this one's gonna fight back or thrash out in like a animalistic way, probably at us if it can.
Mhm.
Okay,
I'm standing there with you.
you cut it open.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, another one just like the last one pops out, and it kind of takes a second to uh kind of look around, taking its surroundings. It sees the other dead ones and the people, and it lashes out at you. But in partial clumsy and random fashion. How are you guys feeling about time?
I figured we would be wrapping soon, probably.
Do you want to? It depends on how soon.
I mean, to me, it us waiting, and then it plops. Is it dead? Is it alive? And then it leaps. That seems like a good place to end an episode.
Dramatic ending.
Okay. And rather than in clumsy and random fashion, we will just have a cliffhanger instead of like wrapping things up a little bit. Yeah, it leaps as it leaps. So remember, for next time we will be starting a new combat. Okay. Also, you notice the entire, almost feels like the entire mountain has started to shake.
What?
I had a sneaking suspicion at a out of character level about what might happen when we go into this mine. So it's like maybe. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea. I like the visual of like it slops out onto the ground and then kind of like we're looking there and then it's like, and the whole, like dust comes down from the mountain and we like look up and then in the background it like,
yeah. But the entire mountain is starting to shake, almost as if there's some sort of disaster happening.
Oh boy!
Cataclysmic event.
Yeah. So that is going to do it for episode 1. Our current plans, unless there is enormous fan urgency, the current plan is to have episode 2 happen the second Thursday of February on the 10th. We're thinking about doing these the second Thursday of every month. I guess if we feel like it, if the fans demand it, maybe we can do it more frequently. But as it is, next time we're meeting, same time, but on the 10th of February. Yes. Thank everybody for watching. Do we have any closing thoughts? Super big thanks to Christian and Evan. I'm glad you guys were on board for this.
Yes, I would say thank you for running. Thank you for the story and everything. Thank you for just having the idea and kicking it around. Like being like, hey, let's do it. Thanks for having me. It's very fun. It's fun. Anyone who's listened to PKM knows I have a very storied history with the Jedi. So it's fun to get to play a Jedi Master when I'm normally just critiquing them in Star Wars stuff. Or not Jedi.
And you get to be a player this time.
Not a Master. I get to be a player, which is always fun too. The one thing I was going to say, Joe, before we go is, do you want to give us XP like on the recording, or do we just want to say that kind of happens between? That's fine.
I think we can do that between, and also I think that we'll wait until this, I guess, session is over. But the current little escapade you're on is not over.
Okay, at the end of an adventure that will happen.
Next time the characters have some downtime.
Cool. That was my only other question. Other than that, I think it was a great introduction. I'm excited to add these Crait Sith crystal sack monsters to my headcanon for Star Wars going forward.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The goal here is we'll get the notice of the High Republic authors, and they will incorporate some of these plot elements into future High Republic stories.
Obviously, Charles Soule is watching right now.
Yes. There are 5 people watching. One of them is definitely Charles Soule.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, thank you for running for sure.
Leo, you got anything to say? I don't know if we even mentioned that Leo's been here the whole time.
I just hope Charles Soule wasn't the guy banned in chat. Was
he the Russian? Is he?
Yeah, Charles Soule was the person's name who was all in Cyrillic and just kept saying like a weird URL. That was him.
Wow.
He's a really weird online presence, but good writer.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody for watching. Until next time, for light and life, I guess is what they say in the High Republic.
We are all the Republic.
We are all the Republic. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.